You. So, well, you spend a lot of time, on computers as our tech writer.
Thanks.
What about having computers inside of our bodies?
That's a little terrifying, huh?
It's terrifying.
Well, I mean, we just saw those people in your little package there, and they're talking about, having their heads cryogenically frozen, preserved till the end of time to make sure that they can get through the...
Right, people are saying this is the fountain of youth. I mean, we can actually advance our bodies so that we don't even, one day we won't even get sick.
I mean, but that's been science fiction for like the last century, so if people are actually saying it's about to happen, and maybe it's just my own refusal to take my own mortality seriously, but I've always kind of been enthralled by the idea of being able to live forever. That always seemed like something.
I feel like humans have been fascinated with that.
Yeah, so I'm not the only one. Shoot, I thought I was the weirdo. Okay. But yeah, no, growing up I was always, I never read that much science fiction, but I was always into that idea of being able to create this bionic android or cyborg or whatever that would be able to get past the shortcomings that our bodies have forced us to develop.
Even this conversation sounds ludicrous, but we just saw, Ray Kurzweil, he's very renowned futurist, inventor, and he's saying, we're actually not too far off from this being a reality.
Just go back to the last couple of decades, look at the advancements in prosthetic limbs and eyes and whatnot. Like, we've been able to see, the medical community and engineering community come together and actually make it so that people who have lost body parts can just surpass these boundaries, these obstacles that, a few decades ago would have been unimaginable. We were talking about, actually entering bloodstreams and actually automating breathing now through machines. So it's absolutely looks like it's going to be something that is going to be more and more mainstream as time progresses. But obviously, this is going to be technology that is going to have to be absolutely perfected before we actually rely on machines to, do the living for us.
Right, and we just saw in that story there people kind of touting these benefits, saying that this could really be used to improve mankind. On the other hand, we had that author and professor there saying that, this could get scary. I know you report a lot about machines being able to get hacked, and kind of this kind of doomsday of it turning around, being able to control you. Or
I mean, we already have, the websites for, the country's top intelligence companies constantly being under attack by teenage hackers, and we were able to take them down just, with a couple clicks of a mouse, and those are the top intelligence companies in the United States. Right. Now imagine if you actually put literally your life in the hands of robots, how easy is it going to be to take that down? It's going to be more than just a virus or disease. It's going to be, I guess it would be a computer virus or disease to take you down. But absolutely, yeah.
And we are seeing, and part of that gentleman's theory is that, and we are seeing it before our eyes, technology advancing exponentially. I mean, we see these smartphones today, what they can do. I mean, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you couldn't even imagine this small gadget being able to have this much memory and firepower and capabilities. And, you can only imagine how far this is going to go. I guess it brings up this next question. I mean, can there be too much technology? Where do you draw the line? I mean, especially when you're talking about merging it with the human body.
I think that is going to have to be a moral debate that someone way more qualified than either you or me is going to be able to handle. But let's look at drones, for example. Let's look at these automated remote-controlled killing machines that can be sent thousands of miles across the world and be used by people right here in the United States to gun down suspected insurgents and actually kill people without ever seeing them face to face, without being in the same country or continent as them. So we're already able to extend ourselves outward by using machines in order to do things as take away lives. Right. It shouldn't be that far-fetched that we're going to be able to create lives by using machines. Right. But I can only imagine what the Unabomber, Theodore Kaczynski, would think of all this. It's only been 20 years since they caught him in a little shack in the woods, trying to run away from technology because he was already terrified of the way things were advancing. We didn't have smartphones. We didn't really have cell phones at the time. Not that I'm really thinking about the Unabomber that much. But it's amazing to think about just in our generation, just going back to the 90s, what we've seen happen in terms of both medicine and engineering, and it really shouldn't be that much of a surprise.
And with new technology, there's always new questions. I mean, since it's new technology, about ethical questions and privacy, all these new concerns. Andrew, I'm going to want you to stick around for this next story. We're going to turn now to a field of work that may be replaced, at least in part, by machines. Rescue drones and unmanned motorcycles are just some of the tools U.S. police may soon have in their arsenal. In fact, some car makers hope to replace cop cars with drones by the year 2025. RT's Ramon Galindo shows us how driverless cop cars could change the roads of tomorrow.
From all-electric sports cars to onboard computers, the future in automobiles was on full display at the 2012 LA Auto Show. The most advanced concepts gave a glimpse of how the traditional police cruiser could soon transform. This Subaru concept is an unmanned drone which can operate in the air and on land. At a time of tight budgets, this futuristic cop car could lead to much leaner police forces. As part of the auto show's design challenge, some of the world's largest automakers offered design concepts for a new form of highway patrol in the year 2025. A majority of the designs involve drone technology, which some find controversial.
I mean, do you want to live in 1984? I think that's a really, really valid question.
Privacy and safety concerns remain as more law enforcement agencies request permission for drones. The BMW concept is equipped with up to 3 drones.
When you give law enforcement agencies, more tools too fast without really thinking through the ramifications, you can run into problems.
But designers ultimately believe that unmanned technology could lead to better and more efficient policing.
There's a potential that these could actually be safer for high-speed pursuits because these are potentially smaller vehicles, and they could the squad cars themselves can sit back or fall back a little bit.
The unmanned police vehicles may even be able to rescue people at sea. Like in many industries, mechanization has the potential to reduce the number of actual police officers needed. However, some industry experts believe it will be a while before cops need to worry about their jobs.
I do think it's a factor in future policing. But I would say probably, at the minimum 25 years before you see autonomous vehicles on the road that are actually, policing other cars.
Designers at Subaru are more optimistic, pointing out that a lot of the technology in their concepts already exists.
When you see the proliferation of UAVs internationally and the use of, or the beginning of use of automated vehicles in America, such as the Google cars, you see that it's going to converge in, about 10 years.
Many local and state governments across the U.S. are already looking into unmanned aerial vehicles, making it more likely these futuristic concepts will become reality in the coming years. In Los Angeles, Ramon Galindo, RT.
And we've still got RT Web producer Andrew Blake here to talk about what this all means. So, Andrew, we talk a lot about these drones that are there's more uses being, there's all different uses for drones. Not just international, but right here at home. Here's another one in the works. It's essentially a driverless cop car, but it's a form of a drone. So, how does this differ from surveillance technology that we already see on our streets?
Not all that much. It's just going to be more and more prevalent. Like, we're already expecting 30,000 drones in the sky by the year 2020. Is that what the FAA is predicting, the last I've heard? And we actually wrote about, just like Ramon was talking about, we wrote about that on RT.com a few weeks ago, and how at the LA Auto Show, when they asked these big auto manufacturers, what do you envision for the police patrol car of the future? It seems like so many of them went just defaulted to saying it's going to be drone technology. It's going to be unmanned aerial vehicles that are going to be able to be dispatched, either by hand or shot off of another police car, and that's going to be able to be deployed to be able to track down anyone, anywhere. So it's the same kind of technology we're seeing right now, where you're able to put a device into the sky and it's going to be able to let police or whoever can control it, whoever can hack it even, to look down and see whatever they want. And there's, tons of Fourth Amendment questions that are being raised by that, but it seems like the manufacturers and the law enforcement agencies who are curious about these types of devices aren't really all that concerned in the time being. They're saying, well, we're seeing an increase in crime. How are we going to curb that? We're just going to have to do what's necessary, by all means necessary. So it's the same kind of technology that we're seeing now, but it's only going to get more and more advanced as time goes on. Like we were just talking about a minute ago, we've seen how technology